Hi YouTube and welcome back to my channel. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel ashamed to correct people. I feel bad about it, I feel rude, and so I end up letting a lot of mistakes just go right by me without correcting people, mostly because I'm selfish and I feel bad. And I shouldn't do that because then they continue to say this wrong thing. And so I decided instead of confronting these people head on, I'm going to make a video about it for everybody. In no way am I saying, am I expecting Italians to be able to speak perfect English. I also acknowledge the fact that Italian and English are two completely different languages. English is directly descended from German, and German is way different from Italian. It makes sense that native English speakers have trouble learning Latin languages, like Romance languages, and it makes sense that Italians and Romance language speakers would have trouble learning things like German and English. I have to say though that I also hope that this video kind of stops the stereotype that English is an easy language, because it's not an easy language, and I feel like a lot of Italians feel bad because there's this stereotype that English is an easy language, and so if they can't speak it perfectly, then they're just stupid. No, English isn't easy, English isn't hard, Italian isn't easy, Italian isn't necessarily hard. They're just different languages, and so people make different mistakes. Everything depends on the kind of person, everything depends on how much effort you put into the language, everything depends on a lot of different variables, so I wouldn't say that one language is necessarily easier or harder than another. Also, different languages will appreciate different things. Like in English, we have a very simple grammatic structure, we have very simple grammar, but then there are other things like verb tenses that are super duper important and just don't, I guess, translate when people are learning English. A lot of Italians have this idea that in English there's only like present simple, past simple, there's only like 3 verb tenses and that's all you use, but there's actually like 10 verb tenses and you need to use all of them because they all have a specific meaning and a specific use, and you just have to know them. And then don't even get me started on phrasal verbs and pronunciation, which in English makes no sense. Well, in Italian, the grammar structure is very it's more complex than in English, obviously. So if you make more mistakes with grammar, it's a bigger deal in Italian, whereas if you make some mistakes with grammar in English, we don't really see it as that big of a deal. But anyways, I'm rambling on languages now. The first mistake that I hear all the time is anticipate. In Italian, anticipare means vuol dire che vuoi mettere qualcosa davanti o prima da qualcos'altro, vuoi mettere un appuntamento più presto. Anticipate in Italian means that you want to put something before something else or make something earlier, whereas in English, anticipare vuol dire aspettare. It means like you're waiting for something, you're expecting something. If I'm anticipating something in English, it means I'm expecting something to happen. I'm anticipating it to rain today, or we're anticipating a rise in interest rates. I don't know, it means waiting for something to happen. So when my professors always say, oh yeah, the office hours have been anticipated to 2 p.m., it really makes no sense. Another common mistake I hear is people will say thank you to somebody and then an Italian will respond with nothing. Like they'll say nothing. And it's because in Italian, when you say thank you, you can respond with di niente, or like it's nothing, you know? We have in English, it's nothing, but saying nothing doesn't mean anything, and it's kind of weird, and it could make for an awkward situation. Some mistakes come from translating things too directly into English, and a lot of my professors do this, and then I end up hearing a lot of my classmates doing it, and so there are just some words that don't exist in English that were just translated too literally from Italian. For example, reasonment. That doesn't make any sense. The reasonment behind this? No, it's reasoning. The reasoning behind this. So reasonment is actually reasoning, not ragionamento. Did mistakes. She did many mistakes. Actually, it's make. This is a common error, and it's okay because, you know, in Italian you only have one word for do and make. I have the same struggle between riuscire and potere. I never know when to use which because we have can and able, and no, we only have can for everything, and you guys have 2 words for it, so I never know when to do it. It's waste time, not lose time. In Italian, I always say sprecare tempo. I don't want to waste time, when it's actually perdere tempo. Non voglio perdere tempo. Ooh, then we have the double negatives. Yeah, in Italian it's totally okay. It's totally okay to do double negatives like non ho fatto niente. But in English you can't say that. You can't say I didn't do nothing. It has to be anything. We didn't learn nothing or we didn't do nothing. But it's we didn't learn anything. I know, it's confusing, but it's important. Funny versus fun. Funny vuol dire far ridere, something that makes you laugh. Fun is something that is enjoyable to do. I had a fun lesson, you are a funny person. Later and after, because in Italian I guess you just say dopo. A lot of the times Enrico will be like, yeah, let's do it later instead of saying it, let's do it after. Whereas later means at a time, I don't know, 2 hours from now, later on in the day, where after means immediately after we finish doing whatever we're doing right now. Hair is a singular thing in English. I like your hair, I like it. Because a lot of Italians will compliment my hair and they'll say, oh, I like them. And it's funny because the other day I made this mistake in English too. I told somebody I like their hair and I said I like them, they look nice. I am actually not fluent in English, not fluent in Italian, but I'm fluent in Italian English. And my friends that have really high levels of English will make this mistake, and I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or what, but the mistake is leaving out the subject, particularly when it's it. They'll say is, whatever, without saying it. For example, is a difficult concept, or is very beautiful. Like, you have to put it or he or she, or I don't know who you're talking about. You have to put the subject always in English. You can never, ever leave it out. In Italian, you have different conjugations. For example, fare, you have faccio, fai, fa. If I say faccio, I don't need to say io for you to know that I'm talking about me, because faccio only goes with io. But in English, if you have do, you have do, does, do. Exactly. So if you don't put the subject, I don't know who you're talking about, especially even in the third person. If you say it for somebody that's a human, it's very rude. If you say he for somebody who's a she or whatever, you have to put it, okay? You have to put the subject. There's no discussion about it. Stage is a French word. We say internship in English. So parents are your mother and your father, no one else. In Italian, parenti means your whole family, and I guess genitori are your parents, but in English, sorry, it's the other way around. Parents are your parents. I don't know what you mean when you say all my parents. Okay, you have 5 mothers and 10 fathers. Got it. But yeah, those are the only ones that come to my mind as being like obvious, and happen on a daily, I hear on a daily basis. This was in no way to insult anybody. Like I said, this was just a video to help whoever wants to be helped. If you can keep making these mistakes and English speakers are not gonna correct you. If you want to actually learn English and actually speak English well, then you can watch this video, learn these mistakes, and never, ever make them. Yeah, this video is totally for helpful and comical purposes. I hope that people found this funny. I hope that Italians and native speakers both found this funny. Now, if you're coming to do a foreign exchange in Italy and you have some Italian professors, you can finally know what the heck they're saying. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that you guys liked this video. Be sure to leave what you think in the comments below if you thought this video was funny or whatever. And I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah.